2 days ago, I had the honor of speaking with Vice President Kamala Harris about the concept of climate mental health. Our conversation clearly made an impact. Watch my video to find out why Fox News was so triggered by the VP's statements inspired by a narrative I conveyed to her. Alongside 9 other selected Aspen Institute future leaders, it was inspiring to share my insights into the struggles faced by young people today and how climate change has taken a toll on their mental health. I was thrilled to learn that the Vice President was so moved by our discussion and shared it as part of her evening plenary I had the opportunity to attend live at the Aspen Ideas Climate Conference. Though I am posting this today, quite amused and slightly disturbed by the recent comments made by dozens of Republican media personalities and Fox News regarding climate mental health. It's a concept that is quite simple to understand, yet somehow so elusive to some of our leaders. Let me be clear, their ignorance is not surprising, but it is disappointing. It's a testament to how selfish and misguided their priorities for young people are. Last night, before I boarded my flight to Richmond, Fox News' Jesse Matten aired a story about the Vice President's plenary and said a number of ignorant things.
There are a lot of noises during the sound bites being played. Who wants it? You want it?
Climate mental health. You gotta unpack it for me. Gotta unpack the climate health. And meanwhile, the sign language interpreter is saying, you're lucky you're deaf. But it just shows you how easily you can spot grifters. Just follow the climate change narratives. It's a simple way for lazy, greedy people like Hillary to get on the gravy train. They realize that you can say anything as long as you drop the word climate in it. No one's going to come at you, even though what she said exceeds mental illness.
Or you just say the right words. You got climate, you got mental health, you got women. What more do you need, right, Chandra?
I mean, I could think of a million ways why they say women are the victims of climate change. Democrats are telling them that their future is doomed. When asked the question, more than half of them say humanity is doomed. Almost 40% of young people say they're hesitant about having children. If nature feels this unmoored today, some ask, why bring children into an even grimmer future? That is incredibly depressing.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, the woman doesn't connect climate change to the stress that every young person has about having a baby, right? You always say, I'm going to bring a baby into the world. I don't know if it's a great place. Everybody's fighting with everyone else. That's number one.
But I will admit, my mental health is better when it's sunny outside. I do have a better day when that is the case. But
it's disappointing to see that some individuals continue to deny the reality of climate change and the impact it has on our mental health. But we can't let their negativity bring us down. It's time for all of us to take action and address the very real issue of climate mental health. Let's continue to raise awareness and push for change. With that, please watch the following clip of VP Kamala Harris mentioning our conversation as part of the plenary.
Kamala Harris wants us to worry about climate mental health.
One of the young leaders was talking to me about climate mental health. I said, tell me what's going on with your peers. Climate mental health. And she talked, I said, I think I understand that, but unpack it for me. And she talked about how her peers are thinking about it. One example is, whether when they're ready, could they start a family? Worried about what that would mean and the stress of it. They were talking about it in terms of their peers trying to figure out, they're going to have to get a job and they're going to have to make a living, but what can they do and how can they adapt the education they're having now to their activism?
Now, I would love to have the opportunity to address the article written by Associate Editor at Fox News, Gabriel Hayes. Let's start off with the remarks made by Jim Stinson, who quipped that the main warning sign for young activists concerned about climate mental health is the fact that he asked the question, really? Is that how low we've sunk? To mock and belittle someone for expressing their legitimate concerns about the environment. Oh boy, does that hurt my feelings. And then we have Senator Ted Cruz's special communications advisor, Steve Guest, who claimed that the vice president is just making stuff up. Well, Steve, climate mental health is a real concern that affects millions of young people worldwide. And if you choose to ignore that, it's your prerogative, but do not insult our intelligence by denying its existence. We also have Travis County GOP Chairman Matt, who simply remarked, "These people are insane and fundamentally unserious." Well, Matt, I'll tell you what's insane and fundamentally unserious. It's the fact that you and your ilk refuse to acknowledge the scientific evidence that supports climate change. It's the fact that you continue to deny the reality of the situation that we face as a planet. And finally, we have the Twitter trolls who mock and ridicule young people for expressing their fears about climate change. You want to know what's funny? It's funny how you blame politicians for creating alarmist claims about climate change, yet still ignore the mountains of scientific evidence that support it. Let me be clear. Mental health is not a partisan issue. It affects all of us, regardless of our political affiliations. We need to come together to address it with the care, seriousness, and urgency it deserves. We owe it to the young people of this world and to the great nation that we live in to take action. We owe it to them to listen to their concerns and address them with compassion and understanding. You may be above these feelings or may not even have the capacity of experiencing them at all. And that's okay. There are millions of us that do. We owe it to them to create a world that is safe and sustainable for generations to come. So let us not be deterred by ignorance and narrow-mindedness of a few individuals. Let us rise above it and continue to our fight for a better future where climate mental health is not a concern, but is a distant memory. With that, I would like to announce that I've been funded by the LookUp Innovation to host a 10-part episode podcast series titled Ctrl Z, a climate mental health podcast with 3 incredibly driven, intelligent, and passionate young leaders who are grounded in this effort. Thank you, Fox News, for continuing this national dialogue about this imperative topic. Jesse, make sure to tune into my podcast episodes that I will be releasing later this year. Tschüss.